Hey there, it's Olivia Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you a huge book haul because they seem to be the only type of book hauls we do on this channel. This book haul is of 35 books, and a lot of this is down to the fact that it was my birthday in January, which is a little bit of time since I filmed this, but it's definitely going up later. Thank you to everyone who sent something for my birthday. You absolutely did not have to, and I really appreciate it, especially to some of my very good friends. Without further ado, let's haul in these books because these books are not going to haul in themselves. The very first book I have here is a gift from my friend Jackson, who is one of my friends that I know in person, and he sent me a copy of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This is the hardback edition, which I'm very happy to have because this is my favourite Agatha Christie. It was my first one that I read and my favourite, and I have this terrible mass market paperback edition of it, so I'm very happy that I can replace it with this lovely hardcover. Thank you, Jackson. I was also spoiled rotten by Lakeisha from Elle Book Nerd. She's a good friend of mine and I've known her for many years, back since we were both blogging back in that day, and she got me a bunch of books that I've already read but did not own, which was really nice because it didn't contribute to growing my TBR but does contribute to my shelves and my collection. So the first one she got me is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which I've read and loved. This is the conclusion to the Brown Sisters romance trilogy. I actually had a copy of this, but I gave it away to my best friend because she loves this series even more than me. But I'm so glad that my collection can now be complete, and now I have it. In it, she also got me 1984 by George Orwell in the Penguin library editions that I collect. I collect these, I think they're fantastic. I read 1984 back in school and I thought it was very impactful and a really important classic, and so I'm very happy to have it in this edition. This is my favourite edition of 1984 of all the editions, because when I first saw it in a shop I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have it. I didn't buy it at that time, it was a couple of years ago now, but since then I've really wanted this edition of it. She also got me The Adventure of the Six Napoleons and Other Cases by Arthur Conan Doyle. I've read all of the Sherlock Holmes books, so I have read all of these stories as well. I feel mixed about Sherlock Holmes. There are some stories I like more than others, but I do want to collect all of them. I had a big collection like bind up, but I gave that away. It was also secondhand, so if I get them in the Penguin library editions that I collect, then I'm happy to have them in my collection. So yes, very happy to have this as well. My Penguin library collection is just growing. As well as the paperbacks, I also collect the hardbacks that are cloth bound, and this is a lovely gift from Mary from Mary Among Stories. Thank you so much, Mary, for getting this for me. Mary is like my classics friend as well, my classics booktuber friend, so it's very fitting that it was a classic. I am so happy they're starting to do some black authors, especially in these editions, and while I haven't read Giovanni's Rome, I do have plans to buddy read this with Abby, so I'm very excited to have it in this edition. We are whizzing through them, so I got a proof of one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and that is Death of an Author by Nnedi Okorafor. Now, Nnedi Okorafor is the author of The Deep, is the author of Who Fears Death, which was the best book I read in the year that I read it. Like, I love Binti. I love all of Nnedi Okorafor's works that I've read. So I'm very excited to have Death of an Author, which is a genre-defying novel about this author who writes a sci-fi book and the impact that it has. We've got a wheelchair user disabled main character who's a member of a big family, and I'm just so excited to have this because I get the chance to read it, and I know that Nnedi Okorafor is coming to London and I'm booked in to see her next week, so I can't wait to get her to sign this proof. I am very excited. Nnedi Okorafor has not let me down, one of my favourite Afrofuturism authors, even though she would hate for me to call her Afrofuturism, but you know what, I said it. I said it. Then my Evernight book box subscription came through, and the pick for that month was The Bat Eater by Kylie Bekka, and I actually wanted to read this one, so I was very excited when it came through. It is a stunning edition. Look at those bats on those sprayed edges, and then the end papers have artwork on them. That looks really good. I like the artwork. Showing off this edition here, and then I should just probably take this off. The hardback itself has a nice design on it, some nice shiny foil. It's just really pretty, and actually this is the exclusive jacket that they did for Bat Eater, but I actually prefer the original cover, but they did it in a reverse colorway, a different colorway with the black, and I liked that, so I turned my cover inside out. What is this one about? This one is about our main character, who is a crime scene cleaner, and she witnesses the most horrific thing, which is her sister being pushed in front of a train and killed, and the person who says that says bat eater, and she can't get those words out of her head, that the last thing she hears is someone calling her sister a bat eater before murdering them. And so she is off the grid, no one's able to contact her, nobody's able to reach her, and she's starting to think that something is haunting around the edges, and after a series of deaths happening in Chinatown, she is going to figure out what is going on. And so that is what this book is about. It sounds really good, I've heard very good reviews, and I really like the idea of some Asian horror on my list. Accidentally tripped and I fell and I landed in the works. It was a really terrible thing to have happened to me, and I came out with 2 books. It was really bizarre, I don't know how that happened. One of these books is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. This is a young adult fantasy. It's the first one in a trilogy, and I know my friend Hannah from Perusing Hannah really enjoyed this whole series. So after seeing her reviews, when I knew what this book was about, I was like, I'm gonna read it, and I added it to my wish list, and I only just got it because it was only £3 in the works. So do I remember anything about it? No, I don't. No, I'm just gonna go in and read it and have a good time. That's the plan with that one. And then I also picked up Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam-Young when I was there, and that has a lot to do with the fact that it was a very cute sprayed edition that wasn't too expensive. Now, from what I know, Hannah Bonam-Young writes romance books with very good disability rep, and this one is a standalone sequel to Out on a Limb. So, following some characters that you get to meet in the first book, and I didn't want to read too much from the back. I think with romance, I don't really like to read too much of the back anymore. I don't want to go in knowing too much. I think you just need to know that they're a tried and trusted romance author. At least that's what I need to know, or if the representation is good, if that's the case. And that's what has driven me to pick up this book. Thank you so much to Bekka for getting me a book for my birthday, and the book that Bekka chose is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I know is one of Bekka's favourite books of 2024. It is also my sister April's one of her favourite books of 2024, so I've just had a lot of high praise for this one. I know it's her take on dark academia with a mystery unravelling in the background as well, and I have read Leigh Bardugo and I've enjoyed everything that I've read by Leigh Bardugo so far, so I just need to keep reading more of her books, and that's what I'm planning to do with Ninth House. Then at work, I work for Pan Macmillan. They were giving away some of the Works printed editions of First Time Caller by B.K. Borison, and look at that sprayed edge. That's beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous. So as soon as I saw that gorgeous sprayed edge, I knew that I was going to pick up a copy from work, and I've read B.K. Borison before. I read the Love Light Farm series, which is 4 books. I read 3 of them, but I consider the series complete, and I am looking forward to trying this one. People are saying it's got Sleepless in Seattle vibes. It's about a radio show and about this couple, and it sounds cute. It sounds cute. I've never seen Sleepless in Seattle, so that was totally wasted on me, but I still got the book. Then for my birthday, from Daniela from Only for a Page, thank you for getting me a copy of Make You Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley-Jones. This is another Christmas romance book that I've seen making the rounds. People say it's really cute and people really enjoyed reading it. I am a big fan of Christmas. It's my favourite holiday of the year, and while me filming this in February is way too early, I'm very happy to build up my Christmas TBR because I don't own any more Christmas books because I read them all. So I'm very excited to read this one. I know it's got queer representation and disabled representation too, and it's about a woman who is fake dating her best friend for their Christmas because he doesn't want to go single, and the key thing about fake dating is that you should not fall for the person you're fake dating sister, and that's what she does. So yes, cute. Cute. I'm excited. I've got so much good romance in my life to come. Charlie from Charlie Brooke Reads got me a birthday gift. She's absolutely lovely. Such a gem of a person. And she got me Garlic and the Vampire by Bree Paulsen. This is a graphic novel following a sentient garlic and a vampire. And she says it's really cozy and very cute, and I've heard people say it's very cozy and very cute. So if I'm having a bit of a rainy day, I think this is going to be a lovely one to pick me up and make me smile. Thank you to the publisher for sending over a copy of Evocation by St. Gibson. This is a dark academia book, and it's about a medium in a secret society, and after a series of unfortunate events happen, he needs to employ the help of his ex-boyfriend. And I have heard very good things about this book, that it's very good dark academia, that it's very atmospheric. At the moment I'm collecting St. Gibson books as if they are tradable cards, and they are not. I need to actually read them. I know this, and I will do it. But I'm very excited to have this as well. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending it over. Then also for my birthday, I got from Abby of Pelennor. Thank you so much, Abby, you are lovely. I got Hits Different by Tasha Gori and Lizzie Huxley-Jones, who is also the author of the Make You Mine Christmas book. And this one is co-written by someone who's been on Love Island, I think, and also on Strictly. And the author of this is also deaf, and so it's a romance that has deaf representation in it. Can you see what kind of romance books I like? If they have disability representation in them, I will probably read them, especially when it's own voices. I just feel like we don't get enough disability narratives, and seeing them in romances, it's a very cute way of seeing that representation done. So that was me done, dusted, wanting to read this, and I know that Charlotte from Books and Bargains really liked this as well, so I really like Charlotte's disability recommendations. She is always on point with them. Thank you to the publisher for sending a copy of Skin by Ibi Zoboi. Now this is Ibi Zoboi's next novel in verse. I've read Punching the Air, which is co-written by her and Youssef Salam, and I loved it. I think that is an impeccable, wonderful, perfect novel in verse, and so I was very excited that she is going back to the novel in verse form. I've read also multiple other books by Ibi Zoboi, most of them 5 stars. I'm a big fan of hers, and so this is going to be her doing a novel in verse fantasy, young adult fantasy, and I just think it's so rare that you see these genres being explored in verse form, and so I was very, very excited to get this. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending it my way. Oh, there's another book here from Lakeisha, and it's also Ibi Zoboi, and that is Nigeria Jones by Ibi Zoboi. I've already read this and I have it in proof, but my proof arrived a bit battered, and also it's just like a bigger book than all the other books that I have, so I'm very happy to have the sizable paperback of Nigeria Jones. This is a young adult contemporary about somebody whose father has been really against the racism and has kind of been so activist in it, he's almost created a cult in some ways, and so it's about her trying to get out of this cult-like behavior and mental attitude, and how difficult that is for her when her dad is the one who runs it, when her guardian is a part and parcel of the whole situation. I gave this book 5 stars. I think it's absolutely phenomenal and tackles really big subjects in a way that teens can really appreciate and learn from. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending me a copy of Don't Let the Forest In by CG Drews. CG Drews is a lovely Instagram friend of mine, and they have written this book. I know that it's about sad boys in the forest kind of vibes. What if the monster is in you? What if the monster is taking you over? That's how they talk about it on Instagram, and with the aesthetic and just how much they've been so excited to share this book with all of us. I'm very much looking forward to it. The tagline on the top there says, "Not every fairy tale has a happy ending," and so I think it's going to break my heart. Can't wait. Thank you to the publisher also for sending me a copy of Not That Kind of Hero by Alexia Casale. This is by the author of Sing If You Can't Dance, which was one of my favourite books of 2024, and this is her next book. It's a standalone, but it's also in some ways a spin-off of one of the characters in Sing If You Can't Dance, and it's about Orla, who gets the chance to go to the drama school of her dreams. However, it costs money, and she is very short on money, and she has to balance trying to go to this school, trying to earn money to support her family, and then see if she can also earn money to be able to attend the school. And so it's a bit of a balancing game, and when you have to choose between your family and your dreams, what kind of choices would you make? I just trust Alexia Casale after reading that first book. It was phenomenal, and so I want to read more of this author's work. I was invited to Titan's influencer event, and there were some proofs that you could take, and I snagged a copy of a proof of Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison, but of course this has been out for a while. This is Rachel Harrison's short stories on certain supernatural creatures, so they're very different, but all of them focus on body image, themes of female friendships, and full of heartbreak and hauntings in her trademark humor writing style. I haven't read any Rachel Harrison yet, but I have decided I am going to be a Rachel Harrison fangirl, so I am going to enjoy it. I just know it. And I was very excited. There was one book that I really wanted to get at the Titan Influencer event, and that was the Grimoire Grammar School Parent-Teacher Association by Caitlin Rozakis, and this is by the author of Dreadful. And I read Dreadful last year and had so much fun. It was the comedic fantasy novel that I didn't even know I needed, that I didn't even know I would enjoy, that I didn't even know I had to have in my life. And so I'm so glad I read that one. And anything that Caitlin Rozakis wrote next, I knew I was going to read, and that is the case for this one. It's set in a magical boarding school, and I really like this. It says, two parents and their recently bitten werewolf daughter try to fit into a privileged New England society of magic and aristocracy, but deadly terrors await them. Ancient prophecies, remorseless magical trials, hidden conspiracies, and the PTA bake sale. So it just sounds like it's going to be another one of those comedic fantasy books of hers, and I will happily read it. I often go to Oxfam to donate books. I have a local Oxfam. They love me because I send them so many books to donate, and I only picked up one book from there, and that was Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I don't really know much about it, but I think I have a soft space in my heart for books that have food on the cover. I just always am intrigued by them, but actually I did hear on Instagram a lot of my friends were raving about this book and had a very good time with it. It's literary fiction. I'll read it and find out more about it once I have done so. Thank you to Hannah from Perusing Hannah for ignoring me telling her not to get me something for my birthday and doing it anyway, and she got me The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. This sounds like it's going to be a really fun, light-hearted fantasy, like monster romance book. I've heard Kristin from Kristin Craves Books talking about this series and how much she enjoyed it and had a good time, and so while like alien and monster romance type of things are different to me and new to me, I'm ready to give it a go. You know, I dabbled in dark romance last year. I know that I have comfort zones that can be stretched. Bekka from Seabook Sanctum was unhauling books, and I snagged one book from her unhaul, and the book I snagged was Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun by Tola Okogwu, and this is a middle grade fantasy book about a young girl whose magical powers come from her hair, and I have just seen so much black joy around this book, and I've been really enjoying my middle grade fantasy again, so I really have wanted to read this one ever since it came out. It's been on my TBR wish list, so when she was unhauling it I decided to snag it and give it a go. I also, again, this is from the Titan Influencer event, got myself a copy of Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This one has been out for a while, but they were giving away leftover proofs of it, and so I picked it up because I read Guillotine by the same author last year and had a good time. It was fun, and this one is about the same length, so it's going to be a nice quick read, and it's sapphic as well, so that's intrigued me, and it's about this woman that she sees at the flower market and what happens, what goes from there, and I think it's got some darker elements to it as well. Yes, as her obsession with this woman that she meets at the flower market consumes her, she finds out she's not the only one who's doing the devouring, so sounds intriguing. After enjoying this author, I want to read more. Then thank you to the publisher for sending me a copy of Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. This is kind of a Disney Tinkerbell-esque story, and it's about these two worlds. There's the winter world and the spring world, and the winter fairy and the warm season fairy, and they kind of have to team up to get rid of some monsters, but as they team up they start to catch feelings, and they discover that there may be a reason why warm season fairies and winter fairies cannot be together in the same place. Now, I'm reading this because it's by Alison Saft, mostly that's the reason I'm reading this, and I really like Alison Saft's fairy tale-esque writing, so I think that would lend quite well to a Disney story. I've never read any of the other Disney books, but I am going to give this one a try. And then we are getting towards the end of it, so we've got here, oh, this was a gift as well. This is from Abby. Thank you, Abby, for sending me a copy of A Cure Ever After by Angrid Walker. Now, this is a standalone sequel for Once Upon a Fever, which was a middle grade book in this world where feelings exist and are very tangible, and your feelings kind of manifest. So if you're angry, you kind of breathe fire and things like that. And I read the first one and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very creative world building. I thought it was a very good story, and I had such a great time that since then I've wanted to read this standalone sequel as it came out. This one is a bit shorter, and we're following an entirely different set of characters, but we are still set in the same world, which I really liked. So I'm hoping to enjoy this one as much as book one. For my birthday, Victoria from What Victoria Read was very sweet, and she got me a copy of Celestice Court by Jade Juniper. Now, Jade is our very own Jade Juniper, the booktuber, and Jade is also very nice, and I'm excited to read their cozy fantasy book. This one is set in a queer normative world. I don't read too much cozy fantasy, but I'm looking forward to trying this one because I think it's going to be lovely. Victoria read it and it was one of her favourite books that she read that year. We're following a royal in this world, and I'm ready to read it. I'm ready to fall in love with Jade's writing. So I'll come back with a full review when I've finished reading it, but just know it's one that I'm very delighted to finally have in physical form. Thank you to the publisher for sending me a copy of Rejection by Tony Delithamutta. Now this is a short story collection of books that explore rejection in different ways, whether that's a friendship rejection, whether that's a romantic rejection, whether that's a career rejection. Rejection is a really hard feeling for all of us to face, and it explores that, it delves into that with these very unique narratives. I'm looking forward to discovering this short story collection because I've heard very good things from my literary skewing friend. Thank you to the publisher for sending me Awakened by Laura Elliott. This is a novel where sleep has been eradicated. These scientists have gotten rid of sleep, but what they didn't realize is that would turn humans into monsters, and so the world has been ravished by these monsters who cannot sleep. And so the scientists who created this problem are locked up in a safe tower as they desperately search for a cure, when one day two people just merrily stroll in who are perfectly fine and who haven't been affected by the fact that they no longer sleep. And it's about who these people are, how they survived, and what this means for the scientists and what they're trying to do. Thank you very much. I love a good little sci-fi action adventure story, so that sounds like it's going to be up my alley in that regard. And there you have it. These are all of the books I recently hauled in. Again, thank you to all of my friends who sent through a gift. I truly appreciate you, and I've got lots of reading to do to keep me busy. Please let me know in the comment section down below what was the last book you bought, received, borrowed, or acquired. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!